All right. Well, welcome everyone. We are glad you're here, those that can join us today. And we are glad for those who get to watch the replay. Uh, we're so thankful that you are in our community, that you are a part of something even bigger than we ever thought it would be. And so, yes, we want to just say welcome and thank you so much. And so I like to start out praying. And so this month of Adar, I just want to uh, thank you, Father, for this month of Adar. We not only get to celebrate the month of Adar once, but twice. And so I thank you. Both months offer so much insight into who you are, who we are, and who you want us to be. So thank you for showing us through the patterns of your months how you want us to live. Thank you for the extra month to show us these hidden things, uh, the hidden ways that we may struggle, Father, because we know you want to give us freedom. And Abba, may these words that I speak today and anyone speaks today, may they be a pleasing aroma to you. And for those who listen, Father, I pray that these words minister to them, Father, and anything that is not of you, or, you know, you would just not even have me say it, and it wouldn't even touch our ears, Father. And so we thank you and praise you for this. And so I put the post in the group and I asked, what do with masks and masquerading have to do with each other? And of course, we know we can wear a mask when we go to a masquerade, or um, we can get dressed up as someone else if we're going to a Purim party, which is next month, and we're excited about that. Um, and for one, we've heard it said before that we tend to put on masks, different masks throughout the day. Maybe you've heard that, maybe you haven't in that way. Um, we, if we think about it, we could have maybe woken up from a dream that maybe disturbed us, frightened us. And because we're maybe unsure, we just kind of put that mask on and everything's okay because we don't want to, we're not ready to talk about it yet. Or we just put it aside. We don't want to frighten our children, if mommy's upset, or, um, maybe we're not ready to talk to our spouse about it. And so, maybe we've even had an argument with someone and we have to put on that happy mask, because we have to go to the grocery store, or we're working, or we're having company over and we've just gotten frustrated because the house isn't ready, the food isn't ready, whatever. And so we put that mask on and we stuff what's really going on to get through whatever it is we're going through that day. Or this one's a fun one. How about those times you're getting ready to go to church, right? And one of the kids is taking forever, or your husband's taking forever, dragging his feet, or maybe you woke up late and you're like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Um, and you're getting frustrated. The yelling, maybe the voice may be elevated with a little yelling. You're like, come on, what's taking you so long? And then you hop in the car and you're like, okay, let's go to church now. And we put on that happy face, right? You get the gist. We put on masks all the time without even realizing it. We masquerade around sometimes just getting through life as if nothing's wrong, because maybe we've opened up in the past and it hasn't been safe. We tend to hide what's bothering us. We slip a mask on that will help us get through whatever it is. It could be an avoider mask, only to end up in a passive aggressive, not dealing with stuff attitude. Or maybe a deflector. Maybe we joke about things and we just joke, life is a big joke and we deflect our true self. Or maybe we're all about self and, or not self. So, yeah, there's different masks we can put on. And even in this month, we read about Queen Esther, yes, masquerading around as someone else instead of her true identity of being a Jew. And even Uncle Mordecai helps her put on that new mask to masquerade around in. He masqueraded around, but the cool thing is, masks don't always have to stay on. And there's hidden miracles in their masquerading around. As we get to the end of the story, we read the freedom that hidden identity brought. And so that's kind of what I'm going to talk about, is that, she masqueraded around. And I'm just going to put my little head thing on because I want you all to be able to hear, and I kind of forgot that when I came in. So will you all tell me if you can hear me? Just do a Leanne, if you're there, if you want to let me know.
Yes, it's much better.
Is it? Okay, good.
Now you're much louder on my end, so very
okay, good. Yeah, and it's sitting here and I'm, looking at it and it just didn't register until now. So yeah, I'm not used to wearing it. It's a little new for me. So I'll put on my ear mask. How's that? Okay, so Esther is masquerading around until the right time to reveal who she really is. And I think that's where we are at too. It's a time where we need to take off the masks and reveal who we truly are, because the world needs it. You are wonderfully beautiful, And so as I listened to Christine Vallis about the month of Adar and Erica's new moon, I started to see this theme in Adar 1. This is added, it's an extra month added to the calendar for a great reason. It's a month to begin operating in our true identity. Take that mask off, stop masquerading around, and express the joy of who you are. Next month, right? We got work to do this month, because next month we've got work too, but that's the joy that Adar 2 is going to bring. And this brought me to, have you ever heard of imposter syndrome? And this can be a real struggle for many people. In fact, for me, I had an episode last week where I just felt broken. I began crying out to the Father because I was feeling this, I was just beside myself. I was done with myself too, as my good friend Deborah says, done with myself. And I literally began crying because, as I'm sure many of you know, when we cry out to him in our prayer time, he comes in and puts his arms around us and holds us in our pain. And my lack of knowledge and
um, intelligence when it comes to computers really gets me. And I'm like, I am smart. I know a lot, but this just, so I was just frustrated in that moment. And you know what? The cool thing is that imposter syndrome is caused because of self-doubt. I doubted that I could do what I needed to do. And how many of us go through this at times, right? Where we doubt ourselves. Um, and that little imposter wants to beat you up and say, who are you? And maybe you haven't thought about it as the imposter syndrome before, and maybe you struggled with things before, like, am I a good wife? Like, I do this, I do that. Am I really a good wife? Or am I just an imposter? Am I a good mom? Can I really do this job my boss wants me to do? Um, am I good enough? And just the fact that you may have dealt with those feelings, those things, means that you're on the right path, believe it or not. It's because it's good if you felt this way because, um, well, I want to tell you a secret. If you felt this way before, it means that you're not an imposter. And you probably have a whole lot of empathy for others. And why do I say that you're not an imposter? It's because you do have ability, you have skills, you have competency, you have an element of excellence inside you because of him that you wrestle with. We wrestle all the time, and this is a wrestling as well. And maybe that's no different, as I think about Jacob wrestling, because he came to the end of himself and he wrestled. And maybe that's what imposter syndrome is a wrestling with yourself because you want to do better, you want to be better because you're feeling inadequate, you're feeling like you're not. So whatever better is, that's really, what is that? Father knows. And so when I prayed and I broke down, done with myself, he came in, he hugged me, and then he showed me what to do. It was like he just cleared the airwaves, cleared it all. And, we want to come out of that hiding. We want to take off that mask and perhaps stop masquerading around, trying to be more and just allow him. Allow him. And I've got an idea. How about if you just be you? You just be you, the beautiful, present, capable you. What if you just start believing that you are the mom you're supposed to be when, now this is key, when we allow Father to filter through us, through you. You're the best wife you're supposed to be when you allow Father to filter through you. Now, thinking back to Esther, she went through a time of preparation, right? And I don't know about you ladies, but the Bible doesn't tell us all the mistakes she made, but I bet she made some because there's nothing new under the sun. Like, we all have things as a woman that we struggle with, and we have that thing that comes that wants to tell us the negative. But she allowed herself to be prepared. And that's what we are doing. We're allowing ourselves to be prepared by Father to actually come before him. And I believe she had things stored away in her heart as she grew into the woman that eventually she stepped into being. And isn't that what we want? to step into who we are. But we have to look at taking off the masks. And it's hard. I get it. I know. I'm with you. I'm a woman. I know. I'm a person, right? So the one who took off that mask accepted herself for who she was. She trusted the Father. And yes, that trusting led her to fast. Uh, that was part of the preparing to pray. She asked everyone to pray. But wow, she prepared herself for such a time as this. And I believe we have all, each and every lady in this community, we have been and are being prepared for such a time as this. And it's time, ladies, to take off our mask, stop masquerading around, and be who Abba wants us to be. Accept who we are. Yes, make the changes that he tells us to. Know that you're a child of God, wonderfully, fearfully made, a delight, and oh, so much more. And if you need to print those verses out or those words out that he tells you of who you truly are, then do it and plaster them around everywhere until you get it ingrained in your mind. And then do it. He's given you everything you need. He didn't give you a spirit of fear. He gave you a sound mind. And deliver what you have right now, because you have more, so much more than many of those outside your home, because they don't have a relationship with Yah, or they just are floundering because they haven't met you yet. They haven't heard you talk and encourage them in the things of Father. Maybe they haven't prayed for him to reveal himself more intimately. You know, so that relationship with him comes with high standards, right? And excellence to be carried through, but it doesn't mean you're an imposter. Relationships come with high standards. Maybe it means that you've had an inability to realistically assess your competency. Realistically, maybe you need a friend, a dear friend, to really talk some of these things through, to help you realize your worth. Maybe you don't have skills, or maybe just your opinion is disproportionately affecting you as a high achiever. But either way, you've had an ability to objectively assess your own capabilities. So stop believing you're an imposter, and let's just get to love and accept ourselves for who we are, a child of the King, a daughter of the King. And this will carry through to your daughters. It will carry through to your spouse, your sons, because they will learn, as you are a daughter of the King, they are also princes, sons of the King. So again, be delivered of what you have right now. The rest will come. Deliver who you are right now. And all of those things that go through your head that tell you you're an imposter will begin to break off, because you're going to be so rooted in who you are. And from what I know, Abba's still teaching me. He's probably still teaching you, still on the throne, still the one in control, and still the one that wants to be reflected through you. through your face, through your words, to everyone around you who needs reached for him. So let's embrace this season and begin operating in our true identity, because next month it's going to bring that joy. And as we take off some of these masks, it's going to bring a joy that you're going to feel incredible, just incredible. And that's what we'll talk about next month, is all that joy. So the first oil that I want to talk about is bergamot. And bergamot is, oh my goodness. It does, just opening the bottle allows you to feel relief from those feelings of despair, self-judgment. Remember, that can be one of those masks we put on. Low self-esteem, so we overcompensate. And this, it helps to support us with self-acceptance and self-love. When we diffuse our oils, we don't even see it happening, because there's an energy in here that Father wants you to know about. These are tools, he gave us precious tools for our health, body, mind, and spirit. And essential oils are one of those tools. They really are. And bergamot invites us to see life through an optimistic mind. It has a cleansing effect on some of those stagnant, limiting beliefs about ourselves, and it helps us to take off those masks. If you have core beliefs of being bad, maybe you had a traumatic childhood, or a relationship that just made you feel unlovable, not good enough, bad, that would tend to make us want to hide behind a mask or a facade of cheerfulness, when really we're hurting inside, and we need to release that. We need to allow it to just leave, because we need to allow the true nature of Father flowing through us to come out, and sometimes getting in touch with that pain, those core beliefs of being bad. Oh, no, that's not true. So allow the cleansing properties of bergamot to do that, to begin opening them up, the energy in you, the Father in you. He spoke. I've said it so many times. He spoke creation into existence. He speaks to us words. And when you get that word, you're just like, oh man, like he did for me. He put his arms around me and held me in my pain. I'm so bad at this computer. He held me. He let me go. Let it go. So bergamot is wonderful for allowing that deep-rooted whatever to come up and take off that mask. It awakens us. It truly awakens us, our inner self. And yeah, you're going to love it. So begin opening your bottle and let it just come out. And so I want to share also, if I can find, yes. So bergamot is cleansing, that cleansing aspect of it. Primary uses are depression. People use it for depression, emotional stress. Are you going through some emotional stress? Just rubbing this on the body, pulse points, our wrists, great pulse point, behind the ears, even putting it on, if you have a jacket on, a scarf. Sorry, I just messed with the microphone. Allow it to, you won't even think about it, but it's helping. Mental stress, the stress of, um, rub it on your abdomen. PMS is a real thing, right? We've all experienced it as women. And my husband and I have actually talked about it, and we've discovered men actually, it should be called, it's pre-male syndrome. I don't know, but it's like a pre-monthly, they go through times, like we noticed with him, with our son, that theirs is a time every few months. It can vary, where our cycle's every month. So it can help release those tensions, because our body is responding and maybe tightening and hurting. So allowing bergamot to do the work to release some of that from our hormones and that tense intensity that we may feel. It's also very sedating. They say that bergamot is the man's lavender. So we love it for that. Now, a big one that I've done research on is it's terrific for brain injury. Brain injury. And yeah, so again, we would apply it to our scalp, allowing it to penetrate and just help our body respond differently. Now, the next one is copaiba. And again, this one allows us, and that's why I put it in here, it allows us to connect with our past, because those masks tend to pile up and we need to get back to who Father says we are. So it offers a deep, deep link to those experiences from our past and literally unveil perhaps a deeper message that Father's trying to tell you. What's been shattered and what's ready to emerge, right? Esther had things that needed to be emerged. She was the tool, there's that tool again, that Father used to bring freedom. So we have our tools. And so helping just shine the light and remove some of those shadows that, want to hide aspects of ourself. And I know you may be sitting here going, how can these oils do that? There's a lot of science about our amygdala and all of those glands and organs and how they work, and limbic system, and it's just amazing. The science of it, I've read lots, but I've used them, so I know what it does. And I'm telling you, it wasn't always easy, because when it brings up things, you have to work through them. And maybe your spouse has to work through it with you, but it's okay. And so copaiba is very stress relieving in those times too. So it helps to kind of help you take the mask off guilt. Are we feeling guilty, and are we putting on a mask to kind of cover that up, or shame, or inadequacy, unworthiness? Those can be from our childhood memories. And those emotions and things from back then can certainly cause problems today. So again, taking off the masks, remembering to forgive yourself, and even that can be a mask, a martyr, a woe is me, I never do anything right. So let's take that off. And, you know, they've done studies as well on the frequencies of oils and food and, you know, sound. That is a big, big, big deal. Sound. What are we listening to? So what radio frequency are you listening to is what I like to say. Are we listening to Father? Because there were four voices in the garden: Father, Adam, Eve, and then who we all have come to know as the evil one, Hasatan. And so what voice are we listening to? So yeah, grab your copaiba. And on a physical level, copaiba helps with pain. Put a drop where you're feeling some pain, and it can move that out. It may not take care of the root immediately, but maybe it can. Maybe it can just release enough to help you kind of loosen up and figure out what it is. Just like we're talking about with bergamot and copaiba and the next oils I have. And I have to find the other one. Thought it had it right here. Okay, so what is our next oil? Oh my goodness. Have you ever smelt fennel? I love fennel. Like, it is so delicious. It's kind of like oh, what is it? Anise. And some people hate it. I get it. I know. I know. But if we want support for our digestion, we're going to want to use fennel. You can just put it on. You don't have to smell it. Put it on your belly. Put it in a roller ball so you don't even have to touch it, so it's not on your fingers. But what this does is it supports us when we feel weak. Do you ever get in the pit of your stomach weakness or pain? That can come from many different emotions that we struggle with, but one of them is feeling defeated, right? Feeling defeated, having an imposter syndrome. And then we kind of get into the depressed state where we feel like we don't have anything to help us out of this, and maybe no desire to even improve our situation. Have you ever felt like that? I have, and it's frustrating. And I don't want to live like that. I want victory because my God says, I have given you everything you need. So fennel can reignite a passion because it's literally moving things out on a physical level. And it encourages us to take full ownership of and responsibility for choices. We can choose to live in that state, or we can choose to believe and walk in what Father has already told us and believe it. And we say we believe it, but do we really? And, you know, I ask myself, this is a question, an ongoing question in my mind that he asks me. I dialogue all day long with him. What is this, Father? Do I believe your truth? Do I believe what you've said to me? You know, and I know I've said it, I've heard it, that his word is a love letter to us. I do believe that. Yes, it is our history. It is how we are to live today. It's directions, instructions on how we're to live today. But it is a truly when I get in touch with him inside of me, it is a love letter that I feel like he wrote to me to help me through these hard times, because life is just, it keeps on going. So fennel, when we move things out, we begin to believe that we have integrity. Our constitution, our GI system helps us to stand up better instead of being crunched over and depressed because we're hurting. And so fennel teaches us, lift up your shoulders, move them back. Your belly is better. You're better. And so we can live that way despite any judgment from any other person, because we know that dialogue with Father, what he's doing, he is helping us take off those masks. And so we don't have to be paralyzed by fear or shame. And that belly begins to feel better. You can rub that on you. It helps to reconnect you, your mind, and your body. Where there's been brokenness or separation, let's put it back together. And it helps you to discover those subtle messages that your body is trying to tell you what's going on. And, I work with people to help them release trapped emotions. And we start out with what's going on in the body. That's usually how they end up coming to me, word of mouth, and let's release some of those trapped emotions that are causing pain or discomfort, dis-ease in the body. And let's feel those subtle messages the body is giving you, wanting to work through things from our past, because it's always about the past, right? We don't want to look at the past and be defeated and woe is me. We want to look at the past and go, I'm not there anymore. I'm moving forward with Father. And so attuning our mind and our bodies together. And that is one of those things fennel can do. And if you're craving things that are not good, start using your fennel and start craving experiences that ignite your passion for sharing him. It will happen. And so y'all know I love lemongrass. Because of the power that lemongrass has. Just opening that bottle and smelling it, it is a cleanser of negative energy. It just makes you feel happy. It's great for your heart. Cholesterol, they're related. And what clogs our heart? The veins, all the stuff in our body. If we're not cleansing out that stuff, releasing the energy of pain or hurt or depression or whatever emotion. And you might be surprised if you get the chance, we get the chance to do a session together, you'll be surprised at what emotions come up. But if we don't work with them and deal with them, we get kind of clogged. And so lemongrass on an energetic level helps to clean out the negative lethargy that we tend to wallow in sometimes. You've heard me say that before. So helps to cleanse out the heart physically and emotionally. And it helps you to commit to a healing path, believe it or not, a healing path where change is there. Change is there, ready and waiting for you. But we just need that little bit of encouragement. Diffusing it helps to cleanse a room, your house. Maybe it's your work environment, you know, whatever space that you are in that you feel it. You know, have you ever, and I talk about energy and people get a little, you know, have you ever walked in a room and felt what's going on? You're perfectly fine upon, you know, driving there, going there, and then you walk in and you're just like, oh my goodness, what is this? Okay. That's the energy I'm talking about. It's not woo-woo, it's not weird. It's discernment. Father gives us discernment. And so lemongrass, love it. It clears negative energy away. And so you can apply it above the brow. You know, you can apply it to your pulse points again. Get the energy flowing, get the movement flowing in our veins. Allow it to work, cleansing some of that, those blockages out. You can drink it in a tea to help clean out. In fact, do a Google search and just look at the effects of lemongrass for your heart and cholesterol. So our next oil is turmeric. Some people say turmeric, some people say turmeric, tomato, tomato, potato, potato. You get it. And I don't have that one right here with me because I forgot to bring it up from downstairs because we use it for cooking. Have you ever made mother's milk with either coconut oil, coconut milk, or almond milk, or oat milk is a good one, and added your turmeric and ginger and maybe cinnamon and had that before you go to bed? Well, it helps to repair the body. Repairing, it's wonderful when you're going to sleep because that's when our body repairs when it's sleeping. So it helps repair physically, mentally, and emotionally. It has powerful, powerful properties to reach those damaged or blocked aspects of yourself to restore you. So that could be why they came up with that mother's milk at night, because that's when our body heals. Maybe you're having trouble sleeping. I would encourage you to use your turmeric. Open it up, breathe it in. It's not, it's okay taste, but I like it with some of the other ingredients that I mentioned. So it can help you to stop feeling paralyzed. And sometimes that emotion of feeling paralyzed can be a reason why we don't sleep. And Father wants to bring us freedom. And that's what this oil is about too, bringing freedom to the captives. You know, when we were children, we were free. And then life comes in. And maybe it's our home life. Maybe it's kids on the playground who were mean or not nice, nasty, because they've got stuff going on, right? But we just, you know, we had that freedom back then and we took it for granted. And then life continues to happen. And so we want to get back to that place. And that's what we're all working on living in freedom from our Father. And so don't be weighted down by loss, you know. It can be a real weight. Begin to strengthen yourself emotionally and physically using turmeric oil. It helps to ground us. Do you have change coming in? Are you moving? Are you moving jobs, changing jobs? Are you adding to your family? There can be a little bit of emotional stress there because we don't know what life is going to bring when we have our baby. but it's good. Father's with us. And so I share about these oils and about these fragrances because they work. And I know many of the women I've talked to on here use their oils for their health and wellness, and they diffuse them and they, roll them on because it helps. There were a lot of things that were very heartless when Esther was in the palace. I don't want to say his name. Haman Boo Boo. um, there were a lot of heartless things that went on there, and yet she triumphed. So turmeric can restore belief and restore your body. I want you to remember that. I do want you to remember that. So grab your different oils, these oils, and make a blend. I always say, make a blend, put it in a roller ball and roll it on. Roll it on your feet if you don't like a particular smell. But I tell you, you've probably seen me do this before, and I'm going to do it now. What I like to do is put them all together because the fragrances together make a new fragrance, right? And it's delicious. And so you can put those in your diffuser and allow them to work. You can put them in a roller ball. You're going to put just a couple drops of each in your diffuser. Your roller ball, you can go ahead and put, if you've got a 5 ml roller ball, you can put up to 5 drops of each of those, and then fill it up with the rest with fractionated coconut oil, because fractionated coconut oil doesn't go rancid. It's a wonderful oil too. It's not greasy, it's not sticky, and it makes that staying power a little longer because the oils are in that. So it helps kind of with that staying power. So those are the oils I have for you today. And I would love if you have any questions to let me know. If you need these oils, let me know that too, because I can help you get them. I know there's many of us that use the oils here. And so I want to help you get those and begin helping you take off those masks, reclaiming who Father says you are, and start walking in the joy that he gives. So does anyone have questions? You can unmute. It's quiet today.
It is.
I hope that everyone is doing well.
Yeah, our viewer today, I'm not sure of the name because it's under David. She was wanting to know how to distinguish between truth and lies. Sometimes we hear lies from family and the enemy confirms that. We think that's being confirmed that the lie is actually the truth. But can you just kind of speak to how do you differentiate lies from truth?
Father has taught me if truth is being spoken, it brings life. If a lie is being spoken, it brings death. And that goes right back to the garden. When the words were spoken, it brought death And that's why Father didn't want us to do that, because he wants us to have life. And so if we are speaking something that is, speaking death, we may want to reconsider what we're speaking. And if we're hearing something that is, I used to tell my children, there is 2 words, they begin with the same letter, and you have to be so connected to Father to discern those, both of them. And one is condemnation, and the other is conviction. If Father is convicting us, because we can feel bad by words, which is bringing life or bringing death. But when we pray, when we go into our tent with Father, like Sarah was in the tent with Father and she was with him and she was talking, when we go into our tent and we are praying, the Father will show us, is it condemnation, which is bringing death, or is it conviction that he is bringing to bring you life? Does that make sense? And does that answer your question?
Thank you so much. I appreciate you touching on that. And I think you're right. I think sometimes it's spoken when there's anger.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess for me, it's who it's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And it's coming from that inner core group of people. And I know there's a lot of spirit of criticism, spirit of negativity. But a lot of times those things are just spoken out of anger. And
Right.
so it's hard to differentiate. Are we holding back until we're angry and then we say it? But, trying to speak, okay, well, what is truth in this? Where is the truth in that? Because
Mm-hmm.
I just, it beats you down. It really does beat you down.
It truly does. It can. I don't want to say it does, because it can. It's what we do with it, like we're saying. Again, I used to teach my kids. We'd talk and I'd be like, well, what is it doing inside of you? To teach them how to listen to Father and what he is saying to them, to have that constant dialogue with him. And what does your word say? What does he say to you? Is this life? Is this death? Because he tells us, if this, then that. I mean, it's the if then thing, right? So, yeah. What is your first name?
I'm sorry, I'm Jennifer. I have to have my kids change that for me. I don't know why it shows up under David. He's not even on my computer. That's my husband. He doesn't use this, but for whatever reason, the kids, when they set it up for me, they set it up under David. And so, yes,
That's okay.
I apologize, but I'm Jennifer.
That's okay. There's a super easy way to do it. When you pull up the participants, you can go in and hover over the microphone or the camera, and it'll ask you, do you want to rename? It'll say more and then rename, pin, spotlight. And yeah, so it's an easy fix. And you can do it on your phone or your computer, because I've had to do it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Leanne, I know you use your oils too. Do you use them for emotions?
I never really thought about using them for emotions, but I love certain ones at certain times. Like if I'm going out somewhere, then I'll put the bergamot on, because when you look at commercially manufactured perfumes, sandalwood, the bergamot especially, is one of the founding notes. So just strip out all the chemicals and just use the straight oil. So
Right.
and I diffuse a lot, just depending on if I've been around certain people that I know have been sick, then I'll put a lemon or a lemongrass in, or something like that. So it just depends on the day. But I never really use them, if I'm feeling sad or mad or anything like that. I never really thought about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I use it more for medicinal, like
Right.
I've been around someone sick, or if I'm starting to feel sick,
Mhm.
then I use that instead of like medicine. So,
Mhm. Yeah.
but I like the emotional connectivity because, when you start, like you were saying, when you start telling people, well, you operate at a frequency, and then the oils, and you start hearing yourself, and you kind of see their expressions kind of shift, like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
you're like patting you on the head, it's okay,
Yes. Well, my daughter is a sound therapist, so she is all about frequency and just we've talked so much about the frequencies,
Mhm.
sound and the healing. Like,
Yeah.
we internet is a love-hate relationship, right? We love it, we hate it for many different reasons. We love it because we get to do this, we get to talk to our children. She lives in South Carolina. I get to FaceTime her. Love it. Hate it because all the frequencies in the air do things to our body that I don't like.
Yeah, and I have a friend who's very sensitive to that, and she's actually having to move from her apartment because the
Oh.
neighbor is on her computer pretty much the whole time.
Mhm.
Because I guess she started to work at night, and so while my friend's trying to sleep, it's very interrupting. So, would you have a suggestion on an oil that would possibly help negate some of that? I mean, I know the frequency is there, so as long as the frequency is on, so to speak, it's
Mhm.
going to interrupt her body.
I would just say begin using the oils, higher frequencies,
Okay.
definitely the higher frequency oils,
Okay.
because that helps for so many reasons,
Yeah.
emotionally, physically. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
There's
What
not,
are the higher frequency oils?
the highest is rose,
Okay, yeah.
um, frankincense, sandalwood.
Mhm.
Those are all high frequency oils. And they all have different frequencies. And I just the other day saved a chart that had it, but I don't know where it is right now.
Yeah, that'd
Um,
be interesting. I'd be interested to see a chart that shows the frequencies of the oils.
yeah, yeah.
Do you use Young Living or doTERRA? What brand do you use?
I use doTERRA, and I believe Leanne, you used Young Living, right?
I do.
What do you use?
Rocky
I
Mountain oils.
Okay. What's that?
I use Rocky Mountain oils.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard of Rocky Mountain as well. Um, yeah, use your oils. Want people to use their oils because, that frequency thing is a real deal. I mean,
Yeah.
like I say, my daughter and I have talked extensively, and because of the time we are in where internet is so being used now, um, people working at home, and they have literally, been able to pinpoint the frequencies of our voice for our health. That is something that I'm looking more into because of my daughter, and how the frequencies of sound affect our health, good or bad, um, and the different combinations that can be put together to help bring health. And so I think we're at the starting stages of health through frequencies, and oils are a huge part of that. They just are, because of their high frequency. So it's cool stuff.
Mhm.
Mm. So what's your favorite oil, Jennifer?
Okay, so I use lavender a lot because I don't use fabric softener. So my parents had been visiting and said, your towels and your sheets don't smell fresh. They don't smell dirty, but they don't smell fresh. They don't have like a scent. And I'm like, well, because I don't use dyes and perfumes. So I tend to, after I wash the sheets, just take the whole bottle and just spritz it on pillowcases. And so lavender, I use a lot with the laundry.
Mhm.
And then I use fresh lemon. So I don't tend to use the lemon essential oil for ingestion, but I use fresh lemon for ingestion. But then when the kids are doing schooling, they're preteen now and they seem to be very negative about their school. Just not, oh, why do I have to do school? Where before they used to be very positive about, they get to do this. It's a privilege and they've enjoyed it. It's time consuming, the program that they do, but I can see the benefits of it. It's a great program. So sometimes I'll diffuse grapefruit or lemon, one of the citrus ones, kind of wakes them
Yes.
up. But I've also found that classical music
Yes.
runs on a frequency that, again, aligns with us in a positive way. And
Mhm.
so, yeah.
We have a combination called Citrus Bloom. And so it has all of those citrus ones in there, orange, grapefruit, lavender as well, Roman chamomile, and magnolia. And it is like I keep it right here on my desk because
What's that one called?
Citrus Bloom.
Citrus blue.
Hmm.
I use a
And
lot of the frankincense. Let's see, the combination I use I make a homemade body cream.
mhm.
And that one I use frankincense, lavender, geranium, carrot seed, and that might be it. There's I
Mhm.
think 4 or 5. I might be missing one, but I use all of those in a combination with a base of shea butter and beeswax and coconut oil.
Nice.
And yeah,
Right.
it's a great. So I make that probably once every 2 months, and I use all of those essential oils in the mix.
Good. Yes. Yes. And you might, wild orange is one that I just had it up here and I took it downstairs because I needed it. Because I don't know if y'all know about Good Girl Moonshine. Have I told you about it before?
No, I never
Um,
heard of it. Is that a website or is that a
no,
recipe?
a recipe, but Trim Healthy Mama is
I've heard of that. Yeah.
yeah. So what it is I use water because I'm not a sugar person. Like I got myself off of sugar for the most part. I mean, yes, I do like a cookie here and there. I do like a piece of cake if I'm at a birthday party. I don't think that I'm
Yeah.
normal. But what I drink daily, all day long, is water with anywhere from a teaspoon to a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. And then I put ginger and wild orange or grapefruit or a combination of the citrus oils in there because of that cleansing. I want to cleanse my blood, give my blood good things. So that is a really good one. And wild orange specifically is terrific for cleansing. All the citrus ones are, but it also helps with creativity. So kids in school, creativity. And because it works so well with the brain, what we do is I call it a bottle tip. You've got the oil there and you just put your finger on it and get some on your finger. Put it on both index fingers. Take your right hand and put it on the left ear and rub it around the left ear. Take your left hand and put it on the right ear. And the reason you do that cross body is because you're connecting the left and right brain.
Oh, that is amazing.
Yeah. So it is truly one to inspire and get those creativity thoughts going. It's invigorating, so maybe that'll help for your kids. I know
Thank
it did
you.
mine. Yeah, you're welcome. Like I say, we got to use our oils. The tools that he gave us, we got to use them, but it's just learning how to use them, and
Yeah.
and so I do a lot of education on how do we use our oils? What do we do? And
Thank you.
the wild orange fosters abundance. So that, like you said, and I say this all the time, we get to do this. We get to live this life. I got to wake up this morning and welcome him in and praise him and look at the sun. Your kids get to get up and do school. I mean, I know I was a teenager too. I had, 3 kids. We just need those tools sometimes,
Yeah.
but it does give us that more abundance. It's the oil of abundance, in fact, wild orange. So maybe that's one to add to your list. And
Thank
we've
you.
got, you're welcome. Yeah, that's why I'm here, because we need, I need help. We all do on what do we do? And so, this month, with doTERRA, we do have our citruses, citrus dreams. So we get wild orange, grapefruit, tangerine, and clementine. So those are great oils for many different reasons in and of themselves too. It's a terrific offering that doTERRA is doing, and maybe Leanne has one, I don't know. But I love my citruses.
I like grapefruit.
Me too. In
That's my
fact, we
favorite.
went shopping after Shabbat last night, my husband and I, just to get burger buns because we were both wanting a burger. And I'm like, okay, I must need some iron. And he's like, we both saw the grapefruit juice. He's like, they have grapefruit juice. Do you want to get it? I mean, it was just like calling both of us. So yeah, good stuff. And then I love my grapefruit in my water. And so another thing you can do is you can use tea for your good girl moonshine. Sometimes I will put like a juice, just maybe that much in there, like grapefruit or grape or whatever. So yeah, it's a good drink. Maybe you can sneak it in for your kids too. Give them something different. And I'll use bubbly water too. It's a great way to get off soda.
Mm.
So, all right. Well, any more questions?
Your